Hey everybody, see you found your way back to my excuse of a YouTube channel, Cars, Crafts, and Drafts. What we're doing today is replacing some serpentine belts on the old Porsche 1980 924. And the belts have started to squeak, so I figured I'd go ahead and replace the serpentine belts. Now when you go to your auto parts store, they're going to have 3 different belts for the 924. There's an alternator belt, an AC belt, and an air pump belt, and that is for emissions. My car, as far as I can tell, unless I'm blind, only has 2 belts. This is the alternator and a water pump belt, and over here is the air conditioner belt, which we don't even need because the air conditioner in this car doesn't work. And it's not a very difficult job to do. This down here is the adjustment, the tensioner that seems to move the AC compressor up and down a little bit to put tension on this belt. So to loosen that up, get the car on jacks or ramps or something, and you're going to want to loosen up this guy, and you can kind of see it up there. Oh, you can't. Oh, there it is, right there. That guy. You probably get that easiest from the top. There is one more thing that you got to take off before you can start digging into the belts, and this was an option on most cars. So you just kind of have to reach back in here and kind of get your hand in there, and you're feeling for something cold. If you've been driving, it's going to be a little cold. It might be a little warmer. You pull it out and crack it open. And take a big swig. Did you spill some? It's all right. Set that down and start digging back in. Now, because of the way these belts are situated, before you can take the alternator belt off, you got to take the AC belt off. So we're gonna work on that. Right here is that. Oh, that was pointless. You're not gonna be able to see that anyway. My giant hand's gonna be in the way. Here we go. Right here is one of the nuts that you have to loosen to get some adjustment out of this air conditioner bracket. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen this guy up and loosen that other guy at the bottom underneath with the rubber bushing, and see if we can slacken up that belt a little bit. The 2 larger bolts, man, you can't see nothing down there. There we go. The 2 larger bolts, that one and the one all the way at the bottom, those are 17 millimeter. The adjustment nut right there, this one, is 13 millimeter, and all you need to get down there is a couple extensions and a 13 millimeter long socket, and she'll fit right on. And if you're impatient like me, grab an impact, throw it on there, lefty loosey, folks, and wonderfully floppy. And you can see she loosened up real nice, and that AC compressor nice and loose. So this will just slip off. Boom, done. I guess there's a fire. This belt doesn't seem to be in too bad a shape. Teeth all look to be pretty good. There's no cracks or nothing. But it was squeaking. It might have been too loose. This belt is probably 8 years old. I think I would have replaced this when I got the car back in 2014. I did this one, and I did the alternator belt also. And I did the timing belt. But I'm not dealing with the timing belt. It's only seen, I don't drive this thing all the time. It's probably got 6,000 miles since I bought it, and the odometer doesn't work, so I don't know how many miles I put on it. But I need it is hot today. I need another one. These guys, due south, they're not around anymore. They were down in Boynton Beach, Florida. And they closed up a little after COVID. Anyway, so, alternator. All right. Now, same kind of deal. There's a bolt here. A nut. I'm pretty sure you got to loosen that. Yeah, you got to loosen that up. Let's see if I can get you in there. I don't know if it'll work. Yeah, flip you upside down. Can I do that? With flip? No, you're just upside down. Okay, upside down camera view should be right side up to you guys. Let's see. So there's a nut here. God, it's dark for you. Nope, not that one. This one. There's a nut on this side and there's a nut on this side. I'm pretty sure you gotta loosen both of those up so the alternator can tilt up and down. So you got those two, and this big one here is the adjustment. And then once you get all those bolts loosened, you just kind of manhandle the alternator to... It's okay, you can push it loose to get the belt off, but snugging it up is a little tough. You get a big screwdriver or something like that, but we'll figure that out. So as soon as I cracked the nut back here, it's not this you have to loosen up, it's the nut on the back side. And once I loosened that up, the alternator was free. And you see you got plenty of slack on the belt to get it off. Some people take the water pump off, the water pump pulley. I don't think I'm going to have to do that. I think I can just pull it off. But I didn't have to loosen these nuts at all. They're not, I don't know if I had to or not. I assumed I did, but maybe I don't. But I'm going to try and snug them up after we're done and see if I can get them a quarter turn or so. Let me work on getting this belt off. Might be able to do it with you here. Oh. Nah, probably gonna need two hands. Pro tip, I was able to roll the belt off the water pump pulley. It was tough to get it off the alternator pulley, but it came off the top of the water pump pulley, no problem. So pull this guy the rest of the way down, over the crank, and we'll get the new belts in. So I labeled these when I got them. This one is not labeled because that's the air pump belt, which I don't have. The alternator is what we're going to put on first. It is 2573.50, and looking at the old belt, it's a Gates, but it's still 73.50. So I know those match for sure. Well, we got the new belt on. Obviously, a new belt is much tighter than an old, worn-out belt. But installation is the reverse of removal. You put it around the crank first, then around the alternator, then you'll take some muscle, but you'll slip it over the top of the water pump pulley. I'm going to go down underneath and see if I can snug up this alternator. Now, there's no screw adjustment, like I mentioned earlier, for the alternator. So what you're going to want to do is get a pry bar or a long screwdriver or a bunch of socket extensions together. Get it up in there. Jesus Christ. Get it up in there and really muscle it into place and try and tighten it down at the same time. If I didn't mention it before, that nut on the back is a 13mm, so I'm gonna need two hands for this, and I'll get back to you. We got the alternator tightened, and the belt's in good shape. They say a good rule of thumb for the Serpentine belts is if you can go down there the longest run and rotate it 90 degrees and it doesn't really want to go anymore, you're in good shape. And that's about where we're at. Now this other belt could be a piece of cake. We'll get that slipped right on. Now we've got the AC pulley on, and of course it's super loose because I didn't snug that down yet. And on this one, it was a little tough to get over the crank, but I decided to work smarter, not harder. Get it off, get it onto the crank a little bit, as much as you can, and then with a 15/16 socket, and a, you don't even need a breaker bar, regular ratchet will do it. Just rotate the crank until it catches, jumps on the groove. So now we're going to take this, and there we go. Tighten down this adjusting nut, and then we'll snug up those two bolts that we loosened up. So this belt is tightened up. And do the twist test. pretty good. I might snug that up a little bit more. All right, that's better. So this guy we need to tighten up with a 17-inch wrench. Good. And the top guy up there, you can't see it too well. I don't know why I'm trying to get you guys these images. You can't see anything. He's up there. He's right there. We get him with a socket. I think we can get him with a socket. Let's see. Maybe from the top. I don't remember how I got this guy off. Yeah, probably like that. There we go. Well, of course, he's in the way. The belt's in the way. Catch 22. Get the belt tight enough and the freaking thing's in the way. That's all right. Oh, 17 millimeter. Good. All right. God. My kids are killing each other, but that's all right. All right, so that's that. Now there's a alternator cooling hose that goes from the alternator to this ram air. I got that guy over here. I'll put you back on. He just slips on there like that. Done. Yeah, she's old and beat up. 42 years old. It's 2022. She's in 1980. Older than me. Get out of here. So let's fire her up. Well, let's get the tools out from underneath first. Oh yeah, I forgot about you. Oh, now it's warm. That's disgusting. So this is it's a 1980 924 that has a cold start problem and a hot start problem and a tearing passenger seat. Let's see if we can get this old girl to fire up. It's actually better than it usually starts up at first. Is everything spinning? Yeah, everything looks like it's spinning. I don't hear any squeaking. Runs kind of crummy, but that's par for the course until she warms up real good. Then she runs and pulls as well as anything that had 100 horsepower 42 years ago can pull. I was gonna say some things, but I think I'm just gonna shut this car off first. It's a little embarrassing to hear. Oh. All right, so that's better. Old girl. Got this car for 500 bucks from a friend of mine who had it when we were in college, and I bought it, not running. My buddy said it needed a fuel pump, and it did. It did need a fuel pump. So I changed the fuel pump, and she fired right up. Then she was in an accident, and she got totaled, and I bought her back and got her a nice respray in Dolomite Gray, the original color. And the windows don't go up very easily, so that's why they're down all the time. And I only drive it when it's sunny. Like I shouldn't have looked at the sun. Like today, drove her to work. Drove her to work the past 3 days. Great. Another accident, fire, whatever. Anyway, thanks for watching.